You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. Envy is, I don't know what the hell Envy is.
He's on vacation. He just left Abu Dhabi. I don't know who's been more places, DJ Envy or Dhani Jones.
I don't know. I think I got him. I got him beat.
So. Yeah, but you've been having them NFL contracts for a while. You been getting that money.
Yeah, but I mean, like DJs, they go all over the place. They just lock down the place. They got like 50,000, 100,000 people just hanging out. I mean, I'm just one man walking around with one camera.
But you did have yes, you had Dhani Tackles the Globe. How many places would you say you've been to?
I've been to about 100 different countries.
Woo!
Yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to get that number up to 150, and then at the same time consolidate into one, because you just can't travel all over the place and be all over the place at the same time, and just like.
What country got the best pussy?
It takes a lot out of you, but I mean, it's part of my lifestyle.
What country got the best vagina?
Man, I don't know. Is that like a soup or something like that?
A soup.
I mean, it depends how much discharge is coming out of her. That's up to you, sir. If it's soup.
You know what? There's a lot of great countries with a lot of nice females. But I mean. New York is a powerful place and like a melting pot of everybody. I mean, everybody essentially wants to be here. So, if you're traveling, if you want to see the best, you just got to come right here. But if you want to go out of town, I mean, London is actually amazing as well. So
yeah, a little smell. Some of those young.
No.
It's a little older.
It don't smell that bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell that bad. I mean, if you got flowers, I mean, rose water.
What the hell is rose water?
Rose water. I mean, just rose water. Just spread it all over. It smells good.
Put roses in the water.
Yeah, rose water. Or like almond oil, things like that, and make everything smell nice.
So I can go buy rose water.
You can buy rose water. You can get almond oil, and you can make everything smell nice. So if if it's stanky like you thinking about right now, then you just like take care of that.
I like guys.
Take care of him. Take care of him. Let him know.
I don't listen. I have nothing to do with that. I don't need rose water.
I'm married. So I don't need no rose water. I wouldn't have married her if she needed rose water. But
if you got to do all that.
I like stories like yours because you was in the NFL. A lot of people say there is no life after the NFL for a lot of people.
No, a lot of people say that, but then I don't think they hear a lot about the stories about guys that have made a great transition. You talk about like a guy like Israel Adonijah, who's doing a lot of different investing up in Chicago. Patrick Willis, who just got that big time job. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have made transitions outside of the game into the world of investing, and there's also a lot of guys that have made the transition into the world of film and television.
Right.
I mean, Terry Crews, he was a football player. I mean,
Michael Strahan.
And you also got Michael Strahan, who made the transition, Good Morning America. So, I mean, I like to think that I followed a guy like Michael and the things that he's done. But don't forget about, there's been people that have been before us that have essentially set the stage that we are trying to follow in the footsteps of.
Gotcha.
Now, did you know while you were doing your show, were you saying, okay, when football's over, I got to make sure I'm set up? Because I know sometimes people have to think and have that foresight.
Well, there's one guy that I always look up to, a guy named Paul Robson, and I think he set the stage for so many different people. I mean, you're an English major, so you probably heard about him or read about him. I mean, here is a guy that was transcendent. I mean, people would call him a polymath, right, or Renaissance man. Here's a guy that was in plays. He was a football player. He was a poet. There's all these different qualities that he had as a person that he had to make that transition playing sports, right? So, it's a game that's essentially not for long. We've all heard that 10 times before. And now a lot of guys are kind of stepping out and saying, okay, look, I need to set myself up in a positive fashion. So when I make that transition, I can fall directly into the fray. One of the guys, Akbar Gbajibiamila, one of the guys that Akbar.
Give me that name so I can use it in Scrabble. Get 100 points.
Akbar Gbajibiamila. He's one of the hosts along with Eisen Eisen on American Ninja Warrior. And here's a guy that I remember. Him and I were in the same class getting drafted, and we were both getting slammed because we were asking too many questions. People were like, "What's up with these two guys? They're asking too many questions."
Shut up and be dumb.
Exactly. Like what are you supposed to do? And then all of a sudden now he's on American Ninja Warrior, and myself, I'm on Spartan. And I think that's a great opportunity, a great way to see sort of how a guy like Strahan can set the way, and then how we can kind of fall right behind him as well.
I remember reading an article, because I've been following your career ever since I met you before I read your book. And you were talking about helmets and football players wearing helmets, and you had an interesting take on that.
Well, I mean, look, the game of football is not going to change. I think people have to realize that it's a dangerous sport. It's a dangerous game. There's going to be impacts. There's going to be unfortunate incidents that occur. And been quoted in a Washington Post article talking about, you have to sort of re-engineer the game if you want to take away the overall impact. And a lot of people don't also know that most of the concussions actually occur because of the whiplash, not necessarily because of the repeated hits, if you will. So, I mean, in female, I think it's soccer, and don't quote me, like soccer, lacrosse, or sports
Field
like that.
hockey.
There's field hockey. There's probably more concussions, and there's no helmets because of the fact that it's the whiplash effect. So, if you want to change the game, if you want to take the face mask off, so people don't utilize the helmet as a weapon, then that might decrease the amount of concussions, but that will inevitably change the whole complexity of the overall game.
So you don't believe in the whole CTE?
No, I'm not saying I don't believe in the CTE. CTE definitely exists.
But he's saying more likely.
Yeah, more than likely, if you took the face mask off, then the way that people would collide would be a lot different. Because right now you feel so
your head.
Yeah, you feel so empowered, right? You feel like a missile. If I'm out there and I got a helmet, a face mask, I got pads, I'm using my whole body to come after you. I'm leveling you. I'm taking you out. You're done. It's a wrap. But if I got a face mask and I take it off, then all of a sudden I'm worried about my face.
Let's just go
I'm
back
like, hold on. I got to be on TV. I don't want my nose to get broken. You know what I mean?
Let's just go back to the leather helmets.
Well, I mean, it might happen, but I doubt it. I mean, the game of football has exploded. And I mean, it takes over. It is sports. So that'll never happen.
Has CTE ever affected you? You ever felt crazy?
I feel crazy all the time. I feel crazy right now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody who's played the game, I'm sure has something. Are there times when, like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, did I forget something? Do I think that's CTE? I don't know.
Or it could just be, did I forget something?
Or maybe it's just because I got gray hair right now. You know what I mean? I'm getting older.
You forgot to comb your hair this morning.
No, I combed it. I got that 10-finger pick. It goes straight to the back like Frederick Douglass, and I might pull it to the side.
Hey, it looks great, man. Roots is out this week, man.
Man.
So you played a lot of sports. Clearly, you played a lot of different sports in a lot of different countries. What would you think that you're the best at besides football?
Oh, the best at? Man,
so
that's a tough question.
You'd be talented if you were somewhere and you were like, I could have been playing.
Oh, that's tough. My first sport was actually swimming. That was my first sport. When I was younger, my mom, I don't know if this story is true or if it's just like, like when you get older from the younger time, you just kind of change the stories. But I remember her throwing me in the water and I couldn't swim. I just like turned on my back and I just floated. I think that's
You're
what
a ninja
happened.
Baby. That's what they do with
they just put them in the water, right?
In the water. If they float, they're a ninja baby.
That's what I'm.
You're
See,
a
I'm a
ninja.
ninja baby. I'm a
bad.
ninja baby. I'm a ninja baby. Exactly. So I mean, I've always been in the water. I've always been a swimmer. And the only thing that happened was, most swimmers don't have the density of their muscles, so they float. I get into the water and I just sink right to the bottom. So inevitably I started getting slower and other people started getting faster. So I would say that would be the sport. If not, then it'd be golf.
Golf.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm a big
You could have been Tiger
golfer.
Woods before Tiger? Nah, Tiger older than you.
Yeah, he's about the same.
Okay.
Now let's talk about Spartan and how it came about for you to be. I mean, it makes sense to me. But
I mean,
how were you approached it? Was that something that you wanted to do?
What is it, first of all?
You know
So
what Spartan?
you ever done any obstacle course racing?
Like Tough Mudder or something like that.
No.
Yeah,
I've seen
so obstacle course racing has been this phenomenon that essentially, I don't know if it was birthed out of the UK and military ops and training for special forces, if you will. But a lot of people are into it, and it's an awesome experience to be able to work sort of in this team atmosphere where you're going around on this obstacle course challenge. And some of the challenges, if you will, are shorter, and some are longer. Some are marathon length, like 26 miles. But within Spartan, it's a mile-long obstacle course challenge. So think about like this. So think about a lot of obstacle course racing is at 26 miles. We consolidate it down to 1 mile. We make the obstacles bigger and badder, and it's a team atmosphere. So you essentially, all of you all right here could be one team.
Right. But
And
if
you
one
need-
person-
you need
if
everybody to
one person's
complete it.
slow, we need you to speed it up.
You need to speed it up. Exactly. And that's the thing about Spartan is like you start to see people's personalities start to come through, right? The leader in the very beginning may not be the leader in the end. The
Right.
person that you thought was the strongest in the beginning may be the weakest at the end. And these are, teams are 5 people from regular people from all over the place. I mean, there's this one team I always talk about, the farmers, and I mean, look, this is a family of grandma and grandpa and son and daughter, and they're out there competing with one another, and you just don't expect them, to perform as they do. And I think that's what's so great about Spartan is that anybody and everybody can participate, and anybody and everybody can essentially start to show their true colors on this mile-long obstacle course challenge. And plus, great thing at the end of the day is, you get to win a $250,000.
Ooh, not mad at that.
Did
How
you
do
do
we
it?
get? How do we get on there?
How do you get on there?
Yeah.
All you just got to talk to somebody. You talk to me, and I can hook it up.
Have you done it though?
Have I done the obstacle? Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah, and the thing about it is like, look, every single obstacle course race essentially has a lot of the similar and same elements that you have to go through. But the thing that's different, as I said before, with Spartan is that you can't complete it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And people have seen the iconic photographs a lot of times on this thing called the slip wall, where you always see like the person grab somebody as they're running up the wall and they're grabbing them. And I mean, it's the same type of thing, but you got to get all 5 people up this slip wall. I mean, that's like the culmination of the entire show is like, people might arrive at similar times, and then all of a sudden it's just like you got to get over that wall. And if you're not getting over the wall, you're not finishing.
See, the reason why one of my friends, I went when she went to do Tough Mudder, which is a long obstacle course too. I didn't do it because I don't know how to swim. Is that terrible?
You
should have been a
just
ninja,
wear,
baby.
She said
wear a flotation device.
They said you could walk past that part, but that just feels wrong because you have to swim in this ice cold. You have to swim in ice, like ice cold water.
Yeah, it's cold. I mean, on our course we have the walls that you have to get over, and then you have this particular swing, and then you have to carry this log, and then at the same time you have to hold onto. I mean, there's all these different obstacles. There's a tire swing aspect. There's a spear throw. I mean, there's a totem. I mean, there's all these different.
Depending who's throwing the spear.
Shut up. Everyone has to do it.
Everybody has. It's a multicultural affair.
I would love to see a picture of you throwing the spear with your head going backwards. That would look amazing.
Does anybody not make it through?
There's always some things that happen, but you gotta check it out. You gotta watch it. It airs on June 13th at 10 p.m. 9 Central, right after American Ninja Warrior, and
on NBC.
On NBC,
wow.
and it's gonna be awesome. I mean, it's just the thing about it is like you're watching it and you're gonna fall in love with the people because of their stories. I mean, there are brothers and sisters that have fought through their own weight challenges. There's a family that's fought through alcohol addiction. I mean, there are people that are fighting for their children that have unfortunate ailments, and that's the great thing about it. It's like everybody's leveraged Spartan and this challenge in order to get over something, right? It's a proverbial wall. Like we all go through certain things in life, and this is an opportunity for them to face it head first, right? Mm-hmm. They're just running right into it, and they're saying, look, I got to go up and over it because I'm not going around it because I want to win that $250,000.
Now, see, you still got the bow tie on. Do you still have the bow tie cafes?
I got the cafe, bow tie
we do mornings in Cincinnati too now, so.
What's up with that? How come I ain't getting any love?
We just started.
Well, I mean, what's up? Y'all should have me on speed dial.
Man, you've been on for 6 years. You don't need no shout outs.
I need on speed dial. I'm telling you. I haven't left Cincinnati. Cincinnati is like a great town, but
do you go to the Cincinnati Zoo ever?
I go to the zoo. And
you ever had a feeling you wanted to jump in the gorilla pit?
Nah. But I was having a conversation with a couple of my friends the other day about that. It's just like such an unfortunate incident, both for the family that their child was in the in the cage, and then both for the gorilla as well. I mean, I can't imagine being the head of the zoo and having to make that decision.
But it's a split. Like you got to do it right.
You got to do it right now because there's a PR nightmare either way. Right. But somebody got in. Now what do you do?
The bigger nightmare is if a child would have gotten killed.
We only have sympathy for animals that we can't eat. Because if we could fry a gorilla or saute it or grill it,
I'm sure.
wouldn't nobody care that gorilla got killed?
Well, I mean, then you got to think about different cultures and the different things that they see as things to eat. So, I mean, you could take it that way as well. I mean, there's so many different ways to kind of.
What did you have this morning?
Me, some pig.
Exactly. You think about that poor little pig.
In your travels, right? What is the weirdest thing that you've had to eat that you tried, and maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, but what
Mongolian.
Would you say?
No, I mean the craziest. I mean, I had this goat's head. So they take a goat's head and they boil it, and then they cut it in half, and then they make it cold, and then they put it in the refrigerator. and then you eat it cold.
I had
So
goat head
you eat
cheese.
you eat the brain, you eat the tongue,
disgusting.
you eat the cheek, you eat everything in the goat's head. I mean, just imagine them taking the goat's head, cut it off, they boil it, and then they put it in the refrigerator, and then they take it on like a bandsaw and then split it in half, and they just serve it to you.
How was it?
It's great.
And it was raw?
No,
No,
it
they
was cooked.
boil
You
it.
boil it.
Oh, that
And
sounds
then they make
amazing.
it cold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of
cheese.
there's a lot of good food out there. I mean, but the thing about it is like everybody terms like the food that you might be a little bit more reluctant to eat as like food that's like an aphrodisiac. So you're gonna eat it anyways.
You never had goat head cheese?
I mean,
That's not a goat's head, though.
That's not real goat head?
No, stupid.
You sure?
I'm positive.
So I mean, look, everywhere you go, there's always amazing food to try, and always, just like amazing experiences. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, if you haven't, here's the problem with America, though. Most people don't have a passport. So
Oh.
most people are reluctant to travel, and most people are never going to get those experiences. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it's like I'll be out there and I'll be traveling, and and I hope to bring back to people the opportunity to see the world that is going on right around. I mean,
And
you
it might
can't
spark somebody to want to go somewhere.
Exactly. You can't live through your phone. You can't live through Twitter and Instagram and the pictures of other people. You got to go get on the airplane and get out of here. I mean, there's some amazing places that are right around the corner. That's for one. And number two, just jump on a flight and just go somewhere.
Do they ever ask you to come back and like speak to the athletes, speak to NFL players about, just getting your finances straight? Obviously, you've invested in a lot of different things. You have a lot of different companies, and you've kept your career going in a different way. But do they ever ask you to come in like, hey, come talk to these young athletes?
Look, anytime I get an offer to go speak to athletes across the country, I speak for the University of Michigan on a regular basis. I'll go to Seattle. I'll go to DC. I'll go to Arizona to go talk to groups of people. I'll go to high schools. I'll go to colleges. I'll go wherever, because I think that the biggest the biggest issue right now is the perception that everything once you get into the league and out of the league will be fine, when in actuality that those same stories that you heard from growing up, like pay attention, do your schoolwork, look past and plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are very important. And oftentimes, I always give the analogy, the stars that we celebrate oftentimes are so bright that it gets in the way of realizing that there are people that turn that light on. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Right? There's somebody that's behind it as well that can also be a part of it. So you don't always have to be the star. You can be the one that's supporting
Making
the
sure
star.
the star shines.
Exactly.
I love an executive producer credit.
See, there it is.
That's it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
cool
So,
with
I
that.
mean, that's always important to me. And going back to what I was saying before, there's plenty of people that have done it before and that need to give back as much as they possibly can. And Strahan has been that guy. And as I said before, Patrick and the things that he's doing, there's a lot of people that have retired from the league this year that I'm looking forward to seeing the transitions that they've made. And Akbar and the great things that he's doing on NBC as well with American Ninja Warrior. I'm also looking at Kirk Morrison, the things that he's doing on TV as well. And then myself, hanging out on Spartan,
Hey,
which
now,
airs
Spartan.
on NBC.
June
June
13th.
13th, 10 p.m., right after American Ninja Warrior.
You got some good movie ideas? I know you do movie
I
reviews.
got plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't share everything on air. Somebody might take it.
Yeah, don't share.
You know
don't
what we
share-
should do?
don't
We
share
should
him
talk
off
about
the
it,
air.
and then we can just put it on Revolt TV.
No, I don't know if you want to do that.
No.
Nobody watches Revolt.
Yeah, you want money. You don't want to.
Nobody would hear it. I mean, you can tell all your
We
ideas
love you,
on
Revolt, but come on.
nobody would see it but Diddy. You might see Diddy pop up.
I
with it.
got a whole bunch of ideas. I just rack them up on a daily basis.
Why the bow tie though?
So I started wearing them to support my friend who said, if you want to be somebody, you got to rock a bow tie. And I kind of looked at him like you're looking at me. Like,
Was he in the
what's up with that
FOI?
bow tie? No, he wasn't.
Okay.
And
that
for a
a
lot
clip-on?
for a lot of you all who don't know what that is, Fruit of Islam, and and he was a good friend, and he was like, he had a vision. He was like, look, if you want to be somebody, you got to rock a bow tie. I was like, no, I'm
That's
not
a
wearing a
vision.
bow tie. It's not cool. Like Count Chocula and all these other guys are wearing bow ties. It's just like,
And now that's your thing.
no, but I mean, yeah, it is my thing. But if it had not been for that moment, and it had not been for me learning that he had cancer and wanting to support him in his plight through cancer and him defeating cancer and living without cancer, and then, wanting to be there for him, I don't think, I would have necessarily been here as well, right? And I think that he gave me an amazing platform to tell his story, but also through Bowtie Cause, being able to tell other people's stories, right? So now we work with everybody from like the Patrick Dempsey Foundation to Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Like one of the first organizations was Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. We sold 100 bow ties and a dinner for $40,000.
Wow.
You know, James Beard Foundation, we sold one bow tie for like $15,000.
That's great.
So it's really like the power of story.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a power of supporting others and looking at, you know, from the University of Michigan, I always look at it as saying, you know, it's not about you, it's about something that's greater than yourself. And in the same way that Tackles the Globe was not about me, but it was about learning about other cultures and eating other foods, and at the same time playing other sports and bringing that back, right?
For
within
people who might not ever have that experience.
Right, black people, we need to be able to get out and travel somewhere and be less reluctant to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can put myself out there, then other people would do the same. And in the same way, these same stories now get back, right? In the same way in Spartan, those stories about the people and the things that they've been through. You know, there's a group of people in a team that everybody on that team is from a different country, right? And they've all essentially they've immigrated to the United States, and they leverage Spartan to be the platform for them to sort of get to know the culture of people, right? And that is the most amazing and the strongest part of this show, and why I believe everybody will love watching it. Besides the fact that the obstacles are sick and the payout at the end is crucial.
And it gives you a good opportunity to teach, because if the cafe's called bow tie, you're wearing bow tie, somebody's going to eventually ask you why you're rocking the bow tie, boom, and then you can give that amazing story.
It's all about storytelling, and I think that's the most important thing. And, you know, it's stories are the best, you know what I mean?
Well, I know you have a lot going on, because obviously we're promoting Spartan, and that starts on June 13th again on NBC.
NBC, check it out.
My man Dhani Jones, thank you for coming, brother. Oh, Dhani.
It's all good.
My bad.
Get that accent right.
Dhani Jones.
Boom.
There you go. What accent?
Charlemagne the God.
There you go. Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
No, I'm just playing. I don't know.
Charlemagne the God. God, Angela.
My
Appreciate
brother,
it.
thank you for coming.
Yeah.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.